The gates of Nanking were still open. The soldiers had already left. Most had removed their uniforms, thrown down their weapons, and vanished into the crowds. It was December 1937, and the capital of China had fallen without a true fight. The Japanese Imperial Army stood at the outskirts, thousands strong, disciplined, and burning with the momentum of conquest. The city was silent. Then they entered. At first, there was confusion. Civilians waved white flags. Women pleaded in doorways. Some even tried to offer tea. They didn't know what was coming. No one did. The slaughter began almost immediately. It didn't follow a plan or a chain of command. It came like a tide, fast, indiscriminate, and merciless. Chinese prisoners of war were lined up in fields and gunned down by the hundreds. Some were used for bayonet practice. Others were buried alive. Some were burned. The soldiers laughed. Then they turned on the civilians. Over the next 6 weeks, the Imperial Army tore through the city in a frenzy of destruction and cruelty. Homes were invaded, families dragged into the streets. Women, young and old, were assaulted, mutilated, and killed. Daughters were forced to watch their mothers die. Mothers held dead children in their arms. Pregnant women were cut open in the streets. Babies were thrown from balconies. Entire neighborhoods vanished in fire and screams. Journalists and missionaries stationed in the city tried to stop it. They created a safety zone where tens of thousands of civilians crammed into makeshift shelters. But even those barriers weren't enough. Japanese soldiers crossed into the zone at night, pulling people into alleys and executing them without reason. One American missionary wrote in his diary, "I know not where to begin, nor how to account for the orgy of cruelty." The Yangtze River turned red. Bodies floated down by the thousands. Mass graves were filled. When there was no more time to dig, the dead were burned in piles or dumped into wells. By the time the violence ended, somewhere between 200,000 and 300,000 people had been killed. Over 20,000 women were raped. Many more simply disappeared. The exact numbers will never be known. There was no punishment. In the years that followed, the Japanese government denied the scale of the massacre. Some officials claimed it was exaggerated. Others denied it ever happened at all. Textbooks were rewritten. Terms were softened. Names were left out. But the survivors remembered. Some kept photos, buried under floorboards. Others drew maps of where their families had fallen. For decades, the truth was kept alive not by governments, but by the voices of those who had nothing left to lose. One of them was Iris Chang, a Chinese-American journalist who wrote The Rape of Nanking in the 1990s. Her book reawakened the world to what had happened. It was met with praise and hate. She received death threats, anonymous warnings, pressure to stop, but she didn't. Until she did. In 2004, Iris Chang died by suicide on a roadside in California. In her final notes, she wrote, "There are evil people in the world, and they would have won if I had died without telling this story. But she had told it, and it could never be untold." Today, Nanjing remembers. Each year, on December 13th, sirens echo through the city. Flags are lowered. People bow their heads in silence, and for a moment the ghosts return, not as monsters or myths, but as neighbors, friends, children, mothers. The truth still struggles to breathe, but it is not forgotten. Thank you for listening to Last Post History. Subscribe for more true stories from the world at war.